On this episode of Carnage, we bought a ute. For those of you watching from overseas, this is a ute, short for utility. And it's an iconic part of the Aussie culture, right? It all started off with a farmer's wife asking the car companies to make a car that was comfortable, yet could carry, pigs to market on Sunday, and then the wife could go shopping with, during the week and that sort of thing. Now, the ladies of the day did not want to climb in the dirty old truck to go to town. They wanted something with the comfort of a sedan, but a lot of people couldn't afford multiple vehicles. So they wanted one vehicle that could do it all, and the ute was that. So that started in the 30s. I mean, Holden started making their first utes in the 1950s. I think 1951 was the first Aussie Holden ute. And this is a Holden ute, all right? So this is a VS Commodore Ute, 1997, well, late 97. This is a 1297 model. It's V6, it's manual, and we paid just over $4,000 for it at auction. And we're gonna do some pretty fun things with it. So yeah, we've bought this car at Gray's online. It's a V6, so 3.8 litre V6. It is a 5-speed manual, the Get-Trag box, and it would have left the factory in Valencia red, but someone has resprayed it in this purple colour. We think it might be purple haze. It's hard to tell. There's a lot of different purples in the late model Commodores, and it's definitely from one of them. But yeah, we kind of like it. It's not the white or the black or the blues that most of these utes come in. Something a little bit different. And we're going to put a twin turbo LS in this thing and go and run 8s, maybe 7s. So this is something we've been planning to do for a while, pretty much since we started Carnage. But now that we have the ute, we need to see what it weighs, how much power it makes, and what it runs down the quarter. So let's head to the weighbridge, see what she weighs. So the ute has all the usual squeaks and rattles you expect from a 1997 model, but it's not bad for $4 grand. It didn't have rego on it, so we had to do some roadworthy things, some bushes and stuff. The only real complaint we've got is the second gear synchro is stuffed. So it crunches going into second every time, I mean, you can avoid it if you shift very slowly, like granny shift it and equalize. You can get it to get into second without crunching, but when we take this thing to the drag strip to do some baseline runs, you're going to hear some serious gear grinding. Yeah. Anyway, we'll take the weighbridge first, see what she weighs, see what we're dealing with, and yeah, could be interesting. Oh. All right, we'll see where we're at. So that was interesting. What's it say? 1.24 tons, so 1,240 kilos, allegedly. It seems light. like really light, which is good for us, but wow, that actually seems really light. And here we are at Heathcote Park Raceway. We know the car runs 1,240 kilos. Well, allegedly. We do have questions. We are going to weigh this thing properly. Adam at MPW has corner weight scales, so we are going to weigh it properly on his scales before we pull it apart. But, so 1,240 kilos, car makes 147 kilowatts out of the little V6. What's that, 195 horsepower for those watching from overseas. So, yeah. And it seems to scoot along all right. We reckon it might run in the 15s. Hey, it might run a 20 because street tyres and the fact it's a manual, who knows? But there is only one way to find out, and that is run it down the quarter. So let's do it. The moment of truth. What can a manual V6 Commodore do down the track? I have no idea, but yeah, I think 15s, hopefully. Didn't like that. All right, how did we go? I know it was a terrible launch. Oh yeah, 2.8 60 footer, 16.35. Okay, so it's going to go a mid 15 if we just get that launch right. Cool. All right, let's go and make another run. Alright, try for the non-wheel spinning launch this time. As you may have noticed, I went through the traps in third gear that time. So I didn't have to waste time on an extra gear shift. A little bit of wheel spin off the line, just a tad. But yeah, that much better run. That's definitely in the 15s. All right, I reckon that's in the 15s. Yeah, 15.9, cool. Bit better on the 60 footer. Let's try it again, see if we can go a little bit quicker, but yeah, we're not going to beat up on this thing. We ran a 15, I'm happy with that. All right, let's give it another crack. All right, what do we got? Is it better? 15.78. Wow, that was a bit of a surprise. I think I revved it out more in first and second gear, so that's probably what accounted for that, because the 60 footer is about the same. Alrighty, all right. So there we have it, 1578 at 88 mile an hour, which means technically it should have gone back in time. But I think that's pretty respectable. 1578 out of a dead stock V6 manual Commodore, street tyres. I think we could have done better if we put drag radials on it, but also it could have exploded the drive line. And I don't want to walk home. So I'm happy with that. So we have a baseline run for our drag strip performances. So let's head to the dyno and see what it makes on the dyno. And a big thank you to Lance and Mick at Heathcote Park Raceway for letting us come out and do a few passes here today. They're not closed for winter, so you know, there's plenty of opportunities to come out here for test and tunes on weekends. There's test and tunes every weekend, so come out and see what your car can do. But yeah, big shout out to those guys. And here we are at max performance. We're going to do some baseline runs with the Ute. Factory, they make 147 kilowatts at the flywheel. That's about 195 horsepower at the flywheel. It'll be interesting to see what it makes at the rear wheels. 120, 125, maybe? I don't know. Let's see. Solid. That's cool. Wow, it likes a bit of the cold air. That's awesome. Cool, so now we have some baseline figures. It makes roughly 110 kilowatts at the rear wheels. It runs 15.7 down the quarter and it weighs 1,240 kilos, allegedly. We're gonna double check that. But it's a good starting point for our project. And this is gonna be the most comprehensive build we've ever done on Carnage, right? So it's going to be a twin turbo, 7-litre deal, right? LS base. Some of you will groan at that, but man, when you see what this thing runs when we finish, yeah, it's going to be serious. So next episode, we're going to be at VPW. We're going to go down there, pick up our Dart LS next bottom end. All right, it's a serious 7-litre capacity, 427 cubes, a whole bunch of VPW Pro Flow gear. It's all going to be loaded in the back of the Ute. This will escalate really quickly. So make sure you check back with us because you're going to see all this on a future episode of Carnage.